And with Blake Miller coming back and Tristan Lee, not just starters in 2024, but they've been multi-year starters. Man, this offensive line, which has been a good offensive line, but not in Clemson's heyday. And even in the heyday, sometimes the offensive line was a step or two behind the other units on the offense. This could be Clemson's best offensive line since
a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. They've got 4 starters coming back, actually. You got both tackles. You just said them. Blake Miller, Tristan Lee. You got Ryan Lynch come back at center. You get Walker Parks back. He's got that guy. It feels like that guy's been at Clemson for a decade now. And all you have to replace is Marcus Tate, who was at left guard last year. And you've got some options there of guys that have played a lot of football for Clemson so far. Harris Sewell's played a lot of snaps for Clemson. Colin Sadler's played a good bit, even though he was hurt most of last year. Elijah Thurman got in there some last year, even started a game, even though he got hurt like 4 or 5 plays into it. But, he got his feet wet. So they got some options. But, man, they have got so much experience returning up front. And I think that Matt Luke has been one of those hires kind of on the level with Brent Venables, that Dabo's made since he's been at Clemson. I think it's just transcended that offensive line room, similar to the way the defense was transcended when Venables was hired. He's just had that much impact, and the mindset in that room has changed. I thought they were pretty solid last year in Luke's first year. I think they're going to be so much better this year now that he's had a little bit longer with those guys and everybody's acclimated and used to each other and they know what to expect from him. I think Clemson's going to be really good up front. I could see both Miller and Lee being, all ACC type tackles, and it wouldn't shock me to see a third, maybe even Lemph can be, an all ACC guy at the end of the year. I think they're going to be that good up front.
It is yet to be seen, but a lot of those people that were hammering nails in Dabo Swinney's coffin over the last 3 or 4 years are going to have to flip the hammer around, start pulling them out. And I wanted to ask you about the role of Garrett Riley, of course, who was a big hire a couple of years ago as offensive coordinator. And there was, some speculation as to how much he truly took over the offense. Where do you think all of that stands in regards to Dabo's influence on the offense at this point?
I'll say what I've always said. I don't think that Garrett Riley takes the job unless, he's got the keys to the car. And I based that opinion on having talked to some people. I mean, does Dabo have some say in some things? Absolutely. Is he sitting over there with a play sheet telling them what to call, a third of the game? No. I think he's just got too much other stuff to be worried about. But, as far as Riley goes in his offense, you're heading into year 3. You got a quarterback heading into his 3rd year running this system. You've got a bunch of pass catchers that have a minimum of 1 year experience in this thing. Some of them are going into their 3rd years in this offense. Same with kind of Adam Randall, whether he was playing receiver or running back. He's going into his 3rd year, so he's familiar with all the concepts, the scheme, the assignments, and all that stuff. I think Clemson's biggest thing this year when it comes to the offense, because it was explosive at times last year, but I still think they left, too much meat on the bone a lot of weeks. There were a lot of games where they just went in these spells where they just couldn't do a lot. They'd have 3, 4 3-and-outs in a row, or 4 out of 5 drives where they didn't run more than 5 plays, go 3 and out or get 1 first down and punt. I think, the thing you got to strive for this year is to be a little bit more consistent. If you can be a little bit more consistent, then the sky's the limit for that offense. But, yeah, I think that's Garrett Riley's show, make no mistake.